Welcome back, everybody. And where is Zoot? You're not Zoot.
I'm
You're
not
Toss
Zoot.
Pot.
I'm slightly
Welcome to
taller
the
than
show.
Thank you.
You are taller, actually. I feel not very manly right now, but regardless,
You're a bigger man than I am.
I have the
BDK.
suit jacket. It makes me feel like my status is making
know.
up for that. So, welcome to the show. We haven't had you on before. How are you feeling? How are things?
Very excited to be here. This is awesome. I mean, we were watching the games backstage, just like cheering every frag. This is fantastic, and you can see how many people are enjoying it online. You know, the viewership is huge. This is what everyone wants: a game without elves.
A game without elves, you say?
Real games with guns.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's so cool to see these players play. We haven't seen them in so long. Vo and Toxic. I mean, this is actually one of the interesting things about this cup. I mean, Vo and Toxic, you never really see them play together because, you know, Quake 3, Quake 4, that was Toxic's main games. And Vo, you know, he's really a painkiller superstar, a CPM superstar. Not much of a crossover. Vo did dabble here and there in both games, but we never really saw them play much together. And Vo's shape recently has been looking very, very interesting indeed. I don't think many people would predict some of the results that have been happening in his practice games, so that's very interesting indeed, and I'm looking really forward to this one. What do you think?
I think this is going to be great. As you say, it's two big names from kind of two different types of games. You know, CPM and Painkiller, completely opposite to Quake Live and to Quake 3 and Quake 4 that Tox was, you know, famed and so successful for. But both of them champions in their own rights. Both of them know how to win events. And in this one, we're just going to see two different styles go off against one another.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know what to say really. We're going to go on to the first map of Dismemberment. That's what the first map will be. But let's check out the player cards, our fancy player cards of these two players, as we wait for those to appear on the screen, or maybe not. But never mind.
You've got us again.
But never mind. Dismemberment is like one of those maps. It's like it's quite a weird one because it was taken out of the pool in competitive play back in like 2002. It's a very old map, very, very old, and of course it's a new addition. You know, we're reproducing Dismemberment games now because we haven't seen them for maybe a year or so in Quake Live, and since there's like this massive gap between 2002 and like 2009 when no one played it. So if you were, you know, inactive in the last few years, you probably wouldn't have played this unless you were active before like 2002. So it's quite weird, really.
In 2002, I was 14.
You're 14.
Or something like that. So, no, it wasn't to be. So here are our player cards, and let's talk us through these two legends in their own right.
Well, I mean, we'll wait to see. I mean, okay. Well, we can improv this. It's cool. So, I mean, Vo, of course, you know, he was, you know, the world tour, CPL, the Cyber Athlete Professional League World Tour. You know, that's where he made his name. It was in Painkiller, of course. Painkiller, not quite Quake, but very similar in nature. A very fast-paced FPS deathmatch game. You know, he won. I think he came first place in at least 6 of the stops, and of course there were stops all around the world, culminating in the grand finals and versus Fatality, where unfortunately he didn't manage to win against Fatality there. I think he regrets that moment, you know, for the rest of his life. Maybe the lowest point for him, but still impressive.
I think he won. I think, as you say, he won more stops along the way than John did, but John won the ultimate.
Yeah, exactly.
Grand event.
So I mean, the thing that really interests me. Here we go. We've got the player cards here. As you can see, Quake Live, CPMA, Painkiller were the games that he's played. But yeah, I mean, I think with Vo, one thing that he really impresses me with is the fact that he's one of those players that wins tournaments, because there are players who are really good. Like and no matter how good they are, when it comes down to that tournament, when it comes down to the pressure against the tip top of the world, Vo is one of those players, one of those very few that has that ability, that talent, that focus to actually come out and win, and that's very rare indeed.
Yeah, being a winner makes it a heck of a lot easier to continue to be a winner. It may sound silly, but it's so true. There's a reason why champions go on and on and on, as opposed to, you know, a player who's perennially second.
Definitely, and Vo, I mean, he's come back. He's only in Europe, I think, for another maybe a couple of weeks even. Like I think he's leaving after Christmas. I'm not so certain, but hopefully we'll see him back playing again in America. And of course, our other player, Toxic, and another absolutely huge name.
Now this is Toxic for me is the ultimate Quake champion, because there was that year in Quake 4 where he just won everything.
Yeah.
I think it culminated. The last event was the World Cyber Games in Monza of that run, and he just literally won event after event after event.
Back to back. And he would do it in this way that, I mean, his nickname was like the Terminator because he didn't seem human when he was playing. He just had no emotion. When he would win, his face would just not change at all.
He was utterly brutal. I mean, it was just a given. You wouldn't run odds on him ever because it would just be pointless. So for me, he was the ultimate Quake champion.
But I mean, Quake 4 was the game where he made his name in Duel. I mean, he was originally a team deathmatch player, and I mean that was where his original fame was. From playing with Ice Climbers, playing with Fox, playing with one of the original teams, Reptile, Fox, Toxic, and Gopher. And after that, he decided around 2004 or something, I'll try my hand at Duel. And then that's when the famous Toxic Cooler rivalry was born. And maybe if Toxic can win his group, we can see Toxic against Cooler. And I think that would be pretty interesting because that's been a long time. And that's where Cooler used to call Toxic, all aim, no brain. Your LG is no think on land and stuff like that.
QuakeCon 05, your LG is no think on land. That was the beginning of it all, and there was no love lost between those two, at least on server.
Definitely, yeah. And even stretching into the Quake 4 dueling period, that rivalry just staying strong. And it's going to be interesting to see how the stars clash with Vo, because of course Vo is a very fast-paced player, and Toxic, very aim-based player. But yeah, I'm not sure how to predict this. And we're going into the Dismemberment as the first map. Should we let them know we are ready? You think it's time? Is it time?
But I'm going to have to push you for a prediction. You can't just sit on the fence like that, DDK.
All right, I'm going to say, I'm actually going to say 2-1 to Vo. That's going to be my prediction.
Wow.
And you?
I'm going for Toxic to actually disrupt the whole tournament.
2-0. All right, well, let's get into this. Do you want to take it away as we start with Toxic?
Here we go, on board with Toxic as he will quickly collect. In fact, I'm on board with Vo. He collects the Mega. He makes his way out of there ASAP. It's going to be Vo who, for your money, is going to take this match.
Yeah.
2-1. Will this be the match that he wins?
No. I think Vo is going to lose here. I don't think Vo is super familiar with this map, but I have to say I'm not sure how Toxic feels about this one either. But right now, of course, Vo does have a wonderful stack. 200 health almost, and almost 100 armor with a nice loadout, all the major weapons, the items that he needs, but that red is up. I think he's protecting that rail. He knows that Toxic really wants it. And apparently, I just been informed that Vo is undefeated on this map so far, and Vo actually picked this one. So, me missing something there, and that's going to be very interesting because I thought he would lose this one, but here we go. Vo with the red pickup, leaving it up. He's going to throw Toxic up a little bit with the item times, and Vo is, of course, always looking for that shot. Leaving the red up was fine, it's a safe option. And there's Toxic around the corner. This could be the first frag of the match, and Toxic actually taking that one.
Two close quarters rockets from Toxic there, dispatching of Vo and setting the tone for this map. Toxic's going to quickly check out for frag number 2 if he can find it. Vo's LG just keeps him at bay. And it'll be Toxic collects the red as his reward. 1 frag to the good, and trying to assert some authority, pick up a few weapons and try and deny Vo from actually getting those himself as well. But from Vo's perspective now, he's got to start all over again.
Definitely, and it's such a lovely split between the two major items there, the red and the Mega. Gives Toxic so much time to get over to either one, and Vo with the challenge, going to receive 1 rail from Toxic. Toxic following up with the shot, Vo with the steal, and the rocket jump escape. Can he actually survive this? Unbelievable that he got out of there alive, I think, and Toxic going to position himself over at this Mega area. He knows he has to be ready to get that position, but Vo with a very strong rocket around that corner. Great prediction from Vo there, and a rail follow-up, and really diminishing all of those pickups that Toxic just grabbed. And Vo now on the red area. Will he get this as well?
Oh, Vo, beautiful play. Drops down the jump pad with the rail in the face, and Tox goes down. Masterclass from the Dutchman there, starting all the way back on that escape from the red. He should have been dead by all accounts at that point. Stole the item and then followed up with key shots along the way. When the Mega was picked up, his instant rail onto it just, disavowed any benefit that was there to be had. And now going LG to LG with Tox. Can he finish off? He's down to just 10 points of health though, Vo, and Tox will escape himself with only 18. Over at the red now, will collect. Rocket drops down. Had it landed, Tox would have been in all sorts of trouble, but now Vo is raining rockets down on Tox, and will escape without a kill in that battle.
Solo and gets the escape damage on the Toxic as he leaves that area. Toxic, he thought that Vu was gone, but Vu is never going to be gone. He's never going to give you any chance to escape for free. And Toxic with the rail as Vu dropping down, and Vu now the one that gets taken out by those close range, close quarter rails as we follow Toxic. Again, these rails just traded between these players. Both of them hitting so well right now, and it's really even. 2-1 is the score. 1 frag deficit for Vu, and he's not worried at all, I don't think. Right now, if I just switch over to him on my screen, I can see that his stack is relatively even to Toxic's, and here comes Toxic on the red challenge. They're going to back off a little bit, and on the mega challenge, sorry, and backs off. He's just there, creeping around the corner below the mega, trying to see if Vu's going to make a mistake, going to give him that shot he so desires, and there's Vu out, the teleporter, going to escape again, doesn't want to engage Toxic in that close quarters, that's the mega area. Toxic now speeding over to that red. Who is going to get this one? It's going to be Vu with that rocket jump escape once again, and we can see that he's playing out so well for him, and with the rail damage as well. Vu is holding on very well, considering that Toxic is usually the player with much better stacks so far.
Yeah, Vu did well there. Every time that Vu loses item control in any way, shape or form, he lands a crucial rail that just makes sure that Tox never quite pulls away. And that gives Vu a chance in every battle he's going to go into. At some point, Tox is going to want to extend his lead, and when he comes at him, those rails that Vu's been landing that just kept Tox at bay are going to keep him in those fights. 2 rockets there from Vu. He's got 200 health as well. Charges around the corner with the LG. Double rocket comes in from Tox, followed up with that LG from Vu. And there we go, 2-2 the score. Vu doing fantastically well to keep himself in this, and now will look to set up a lead.
Definitely, that fight was so interesting because Vu just gets that opening damage and he's like, okay, screw it, I'm going for it. Just goes in with that LG and finishes off Toxic. I think Toxic not even expecting such a decision from Vu. Vu's aggression is so worthwhile at the moment. His reads, and here comes the aggression once again, finding Toxic with those rockets, and Toxic pushed off that mega. Vu with the teleporter is gonna use that, abuse that position to finish his opponent off again. And with this red up on the spawn, Vu's going to grab that one. And Vu looking in fantastic shape, taking the lead now. And Toxic's got to be careful. You're saying Vu is able to hit those rails to never let Toxic pull away, but now Toxic letting Vu pull away. Look at that stack, it's absolutely huge, enormous.
Good rocket landed there from Tox onto Vu though, which is exactly what we're talking about. Just keep your opponent within touching distance and then pick the right fight. He lands a good rocket, chases up with the LG. Is this the right fight? Well, Vu is below 100 health and has next to no armor. LG comes along. Nothing really happening from Toxic. Now it might though. Vu down to just 47 points of health. Toxic himself only on 80, 24. And this is the opportunity. Vu can't have much left. 26 and goes down. That was the right fight. And we are at 3-3 and Toxic's reward will be that mega.
Tying it up again, so incredibly even between these two. What is Vu going to be able to do now to try and swing things back in his favor with that rocket launcher? That's all he has to work with right now. Toxic above. Is he going to take the teleporter? Is he going to try those teleporter antics that he so loves and actually has been working for him pretty well so far? Vu's such a fast-thinking player and really using that to his advantage. Coming around this mega and this red only have a 5-second split, and Vu has no railgun. Toxic could get some free unreturned damage there, so Vu has to be careful. With the yellow pickup though, he is going to position himself, going to grab that rail and position himself near the mega. Now it's Toxic with the challenge onto the mega. How can he do it? With that shaft it's going to be, and it's going to be some damage but not nearly enough, and I think that Vu is going to be so strong on this next red challenge, and here's Toxic with the rail. Hits it, hits a second one. Vu in trouble now. Toxic manages to close the distance and engage Vu. Vu has nothing to defend himself with really, and another rail from Toxic absolutely crushing Vu's once huge stack, and it is now nothing to be proud of at all.
3 important rails and 3 minutes to go here, and 3 frags apiece as these two players tied up, and Vu 88-50, the mega is up, and there's Tox. Vu's rocket does land, and Tox though still on about 150 on both, and that'll put him in a great position if he can find the Dutchman. He does exchange rails, but Tox comes out on top, and now we'll go looking because there's a frag to be had here if he can find Vu. Vu doing an excellent job, as we were talking about earlier, of picking those fights. He knows he can't take a fight right now, and he knows that he's got to land something on to Toxic. Until he does, he's not giving any cheap frags away.
And everything spawning at once as well. This could be Vu's opportunity now to actually make his way back in, grab some items. If he can if Toxic gets out of position on only a couple, it could be devastating for him, because Vu now picking up that yellow and that mega is going to be really awesome for him. But Toxic again with those rails. It doesn't seem like he needs anything else right now. It's working so well for him, really just crushing all of Vu's options, stopping him dead in his tracks, as he would love to push the issue, try to engage, but every time he has that stop of those rails from Toxic, and with that mega and red again spawning in very close proximity, we're going to have to see what options Toxic goes for. I mean, he doesn't really need that much armor, so he's going to go for that mega, and Vu, of course, playing that rocket damage and also a follow-up rail. That's what he needs to do. He's only got a minute and a half to really take a frag to take the game, but this could even go to overtime.
The clock's going to become a very big player in this one. It'll either be one frag in the next minute that wins it, or we'll be headed to overtime, as we are at 8 minutes and 50, and Tom's in a great position as Vu just sits waiting again, as to echo the points of earlier, making sure he gives nothing away for free.
1 minute warning.
It'll be Vu just dancing around. He's waiting for those items. Mega is up, red is coming as well, and what will Vu settle for? What's the one he wants to fight out for? Mega's gone, yellow is as well, but nothing exchanged there, and Vu unable to get on the item collection until then.
Indeed, and Vu eating those rails. Toxic really slowing him down with those rails. It's just been all about that so far. Really, Vu has been kind of outplaying Toxic in other situations, but when it comes to those rails, every time Vu wants to close that distance, every time he wants to go for the frag, Toxic just maintains his position with that railgun. And can it be strong for him? Can it be consistent? Is he going to give Vu a chance to get back into this one? There's the mega. Vu desperately wants to take it, but he knows that Toxic is lurking around there. There goes Toxic with the jump, connecting with that rocket though, Vu, and not connecting with that follow-up rail. That's going to really hurt him right now, because he needs that damage so desperately, and he is basically relegated to so little armor and health on the map because Toxic's running everything, and there's the overtime.
I think Vu definitely decided at about 9 minutes and 30, nothing's going for me here. I will settle for overtime and play it out. And that's smart. That's efficient. Gets a rocket there and will eat away at him. But Tox drops down, comes at him. Oh, gets the frag. 4 up for Vu, and suddenly time was on his side. He's going to try and connect it into 2. Double rocket landed by Tox, pulls us all the way back to 2-2, but Tox is down to just 20 points of health. Gets the red, now goes looking for Vu, but Vu has done what he does so well in this game, which is the rocket that was. And it is 5-4. Vu is rolling back the years.
Vu, man, always with those rockets, the money rockets. That's just what he's all about, and it's the battle of the rocket and the rail, I think, so far. And right now, the rocket's winning. 1 frag up, 1 minute left. Toxic has to try and tie this up to stop Vu taking this first map. Vu defending that red, but no, Toxic with the quick steal. Vu not with that item timing, but Toxic pushing the issue onto that mega, but that rocket LG follow-up of Vu is going to be 2 frags now in the lead for Vu, and it's looking good right now with that yellow pickup with the stack. Toxic knows he has to go in. He knows he's so desperate right now for options. He has none, so he has to make something happen. He has to force the issue, and Vu, his stack is still staying strong.
Vu took his opportunity well, and he's forced Toxic into a position of no control, and this is just not a situation that the Swede would like to be in. Finds himself with 25 seconds to go. He's just going to have to go all in at some point. He knows it's going to cost him a cheap frag, but he had to do it anyway, and that's exactly what that was. That'll be the game. And, well, Vu, under the clock for large parts of it, but playing so professionally, so diligently, gave nothing away. A lesson to anyone watching.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Toxic was hitting so much rail. I mean, I can't really emphasize that enough. It's so difficult in that position, like hitting all of those key ones to beat his opponent back. But Vu, staying patient, not doing something drastic, always, as you said, playing the clock, playing the time, as best as he possibly could to try and make sure that he had the best chances he could to stay in that one, because he knew if he was going to give away 1 frag or 2 frags for free, then Toxic is good enough to capitalize, and he made sure that he stayed in that one, and with those rockets managed to pull it out, I think.
Those rockets were the key, there's no doubt about that. You can see a good few of them just picked off so much health that he was able to get well and truly out of there. We're going to switch over to Blood Run for map number 2. Your thoughts on this?
I think Toxic is a big favorite here. I've got to say, because Toxic definitely has played probably more Blood Run than Vo, and Vo, I think, is not typically he's not very Russian. He's a Dutch man, Dutch people. He's a very fast-paced player. Fast-paced engagements kind of really suit him. And I think that Blood Run is a map that he doesn't really have any special edges on. I've never seen anything special from him on Blood Run, but we'll see. Maybe he's going to surprise us all. He's been back for a few weeks now. He's been practicing hard. Maybe he can show us something special. But Toxic has always been quite strong here.
I didn't see Vo pulling out a result like that on Hub as well. So to be fair, maybe Vo's got something up his sleeve, but at the same time, you can't be a king on every map.
No, definitely not.
Each map brings its own style, as Vo jokes at Painkiller. Taught him well to land that frag that actually changed the whole map on the last one.
Yeah, definitely. He's always so good at that. Just when it counts, that's one of the things that makes Vo special. When it counts, he pulls it out every time, well, almost every time. And that one rocket on Dismemberment to take the 5-4, I mean, that was really what it was about for him, because I have no idea how he did it.
Oh, it was a
I just didn't see it coming at all. It was telefrag, oh my god, see. But the game is starting. Map number 2 between Toxic and Vo. Take it away, once again, Tosspot.
Here we go, 3, 2, 1, we are underway, and on board with Vo to start with the man who is one map to the good. We'll collect yellow and rail, and as Toxic goes up to get that red, Vo is waiting with the rail, does land one shot onto him, I'm not sure, as Vo will then escape and push along. Toxic is waiting for him, and Vo is ready to try and play this one at Toxic's speed, if you will.
I think so, but we have this red spawning soon, and really he needs to challenge for it, because he can't give that one away for free. Here he comes, taking the grenade deck defense, that route, that positioning, and with the plasma climb, he's going to get up to that red and sweep it away. Toxic knowing that he didn't really want to challenge for it, because his stack wasn't as close to Vo's really. Toxic playing that rail, connecting with one, and going for the fight with that LG. The defense, the Mega picks it up. It's going to help immensely, because now he gets the frag. That Mega making the difference mid-fight, and that is something you can really count on if your timing is good. So great play by Toxic there, really paying off, securing him the lead early on in the first moments of this game.
I was going to ask you midway through that, of what was the mentality behind just completely surrendering the red and going down for Mega when Mega still had 12 seconds, but it kind of answered itself about 12 seconds later.
Indeed, it did. And we can see Vo here now in this position, this very classic position on Blood Run, where there's so much armor, there's so much ways to run away, there's so many ways to escape, all these corridors you can play, these choke points where you can take these efficient fights, that Vo really is going to just buy this time, like we saw in Dismemberment, but he should be able to pull it off even more here. He should be able to run around collecting armor, avoiding Toxic for a long period of time, because he's going to be aiming to do that, and if he can get a Mega time, but Toxic actually with the interception of Vo, great read there by Toxic, and actually Vo managed to escape, so that is really good work from Vo there, and he's going to be slowed down though, because now he took that damage, he's not going to get that 100, 150 armor that he really needs to try and contest something.
Talk me through this situation from a player's perspective. If you're in Vo's position, you're in an uncomfortable map style to yourself, how do you keep yourself fully focused for the whole game?
You have to basically just try and steal item times and try to avoid damage as much as physically possible, and then figure out how you want to position yourself on that item that you do end up finally contesting. Because when Vo gets that 100, 150 armor, he gets these options. He gets an option to ambush, he gets the option to set a trap, because that opening damage will even things up, and then you can take an even fight from there. But he has to get that opening damage, and getting the item times as well can be crucial, because if you can get your opponent out of position, you can jump on it and steal it away with confidence, and that is what you need. And Vo here, we can see him positioning himself around this Mega. He doesn't want to take a fight, but if he gets this opening rocket, he might go for it and play opportunistically, but he can also lead. He just wants the item times.
So just about 3 minutes played, only the one frag, as Tox will collect the Mega and dart out of that corridor straight away up towards yellow. You just hear the rail whistling in the background from Vo as Tox will wait again on the Mega corridor. Red is coming up in a second, and now Tox is going to go over there. It's still uncontested, but Vo's got his rocket trained right on it, and they're both thinking, well, the other one's going to come around that corner any second now. And no one did. Vo dropping that rocket down on the ground to try and give the illusion of a rocket jump up, but no one bought that dummy, and still we exchange with Toxic now going back, collecting the Mega, and the red has now finally been taken by Vo.
Indeed, Vo actually with quite a nice stack worked himself up quite well now. We're going to actually look for that engagement. A nice little rocket there, going to deal quite a lot of damage to Toxic. Going to make Vo feel confident that now with that almost 200 armor that he's managed to build up. So I mean, without that's really good that he's managed to do that. That can be tough to do sometimes, but he's done it against Toxic. He's looking for the engagement. He just wants that opportunity. Oh, but the damage from Toxic there is pretty strong with that shaft connecting. He's so well known for that shaft aim, and Vo has to buy this time maybe once more. He really needs a mega time. I don't think he has it right now, and Toxic just picked up another one. But Vo trying to stay vigilant on setting up these ambushes and traps.
Oh, two players just dart around the corner, stare each other down for a second, and then exchange missed rockets. Grenades are tossed across just on the red platform. Yellow is collected by Tox, who's in a lovely position. He'll follow that up with the red, and that more to deny Vo than any actual need for it. Vo's on about 100, and his opponent is far greater as he will make his way down into the mega corridor and collect. And at this moment in time, Vo is just playing for keeps. Do not give away that second frag and take the opportunity when it comes, even if it comes in 5 minutes' time.
Absolutely true, and Vo cannot give it away. He really can't give away another one because Toxic is so good at running control. He's very reminiscent right now to me of Zamus. If anyone, any old school players are around, they'll know what I'm talking about. Zamus, one of the best control players on this map back in the days, the OSP days, but Toxic going to grab another mega. Vo really needs this item, and I cannot stress it enough. I'm not sure if he grabbed it there in the distance, but Toxic going to pull that one out, and Vo out of position. Toxic going to grab this red. Vo in a bit of trouble taking a rail, has escape options. He won't die, but that damage is going to send him back another minute or two as he needs to replenish that stack once again, as Toxic's damage was too great in that instance, and it was unreturned damage as well. Toxic feeling very confident now, and Sturmy was telling me before that Toxic is a guy who doesn't really like to chase the frags too much, but here the frag comes to him as Vo goes for this engagement with rockets bouncing Toxic back and forth around that corridor, column. He's trying to do expert work with the rail, precision railing from the Dutchman there. Very good stuff so far, and actually I can't believe that we saw no frag there.
Well, Vo's down to just 18 points of health. How we didn't see it, I don't know. Tox had the opportunity, but Vo, to his credit, gave nothing away, and now is going to do, as you have said many times, work on replenishing and rebuilding before packing his fight. There may not be the opportunity for the telefrag that he got on the last map, but if there is, he'll chase it down, and that's what Vo needs. He needs that break of luck. Vo is one map up, remember, coming off hub, and now it will be Tox's opportunity to try and pull this one back into a deciding map.
Indeed, and we have 3 minutes left, 20 seconds, one frag. This is Blood Run, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's about. I mean, you can do this. This is how you play it, and sometimes we don't see close games like this, but it has the propensity for such games. And Vo really trying to find those opportunities, and escape options are so important for him right now. Everything he's doing, he needs to think, okay, I need an escape option there. There's a rail. Just dart around the corner straight away, not return any or get any damage returned from Toxic. Should Toxic want to have railed him back, and Toxic taking a rocket right to the face, a full 100 damage coming from Vo. Vo now with that mega pickup with that yellow is going to be looking desperately for the frag now, because now is his best opportunity stack-wise, but is he going to find the best opportunity positionally as he engages his opponent Toxic? Toxic there with that rail around the corner so fast, appeared in the blink of an eye, shooting the rail, gone, and it landed. Unbelievable stuff from Toxic.
About 30 seconds ago, Vo heard Tox over picking up some armor shards, realized that meant the Mega was unguarded, stole it, landed a rail onto Tox as well, and now opened up the door for him to get back in. He's taken his second consecutive Mega, he's up to 200 health, he's got no armor to speak of, but Tox is on the other side. Tox has 200 armor and only 70 points of health to play with, so this gives an opportunity for Vo. He's only got 2 minutes, he may have to start gambling. Yellow picked up by Tox, and that'll leave Vo still on only 50 armor, but all the health in the world. Collects those shards, and we'll wait to hear the noises of Tox, and they're right around the corner from one another. First rocket landed by Vo. Vo escapes quickly, and is going to quickly try to follow that up with a rocket up there, but the Mega is up, and Vo wants to escape. Tox has collected the yellow, the red, and now drops down, trying to finish it off. Mega this time picked up by Vo, lands an escape rail, and that will leave Tox on 62-138, and Vo 100 to 50. I mean, this is still anyone's game.
I think Vo feeling absolutely gutted there. That rocket jump, I think that red was up. He was trying to rocket jump onto the red and actually with it, like, completely messing that one up. And but still didn't lose out the frag. It gets the next red and he's still in the game. But 1 minute, 60 seconds he has now to make a frag on Toxic. Toxic's so painfully aware of the nature of the situation. It's going to be playing very defensively. You can see Vo with the 200-200 and Toxic with 100 and 150. It's going to be a very close battle indeed, as Vo's going to have to run through a lot of damage to get at Toxic, but is he going to come out on the other side with enough of a stack left to put in a fight and win it? We'll find out in the next 30 seconds, as Toxic is so elusive, so avoidant of the opponent right now. Vo, he knows that that one frag lead is going to win him the game, and he's so confident of this. But Vo, with the challenge, he's looking for it, but where is Toxic?
Yeah, nice play from Toxic, as he's not had a mega in probably 2.5 minutes. Here we go, rocket exchange down by the teleporter. Toxic does escape, but he can't have much help. Vo chasing out the LG from Toxic, strips Vo of his life, and that was Toxic's moment. He had to pull his A game out and delivered despite his health disadvantage.
Oh my god, I mean, Vo with that fight, he knew it was all about that fight, and you could see him with the rocket so careful. He wants to make sure that that first one hit, because if you can make sure that first rocket hits, sometimes you get the nice bounce, and the follow-up damage is going to come to you much more easily. Unfortunately, Vo not able to connect with that, losing a lot of time, losing a lot of damage from Toxic, but as you can see, everything came down to that one moment, and Toxic came out on top.
We've seen 2 maps of utter discipline from these 2 players.
Oh yeah.
Giving
Patience,
absolutely nothing away. We've seen what in regular time, if you exclude overtime, 7 frags on the first map, just 2 on this one. You've seen 9 frags in 20 minutes, and yet each one has been so hard worked. It's been great to watch. Yeah,
definitely, and it's all going to come down to this last one now. Of course, Vo taking Dismemberment, and what an exciting game that was, and even in a riveting game too as well on Blood Run. And now they are going to be removing maps and figuring out what is going to be the next one, the deciding map in this group stage game between these 2.
What do you think map-wise? I think Tox will probably favor a DM6 and be able to again play his style of game as opposed to one of Vo's style of games.
I think DM6 is definitely the best choice for Toxic, as you say. I think Vo, not being someone who's played as much DM6 as Toxic for sure, because as we said before, CPM, where they didn't really play DM6, Painkiller, these are the games he came from. Toxic, however, he was one of the best DM6 players on TDM. He's one of the best DM6 duelers there's probably ever been. So I think definitely your read right there is good. But
if you're Vo, what map do you want?
If I'm Vo, I probably want. It's going to be a difficult one. I think I want Lost World, I think. But then again, that's also dangerous. Toxic is dangerous everywhere. So we'll see how how things unfold in front of us. But yeah, what did they
We missed the map vote.
It was... so it's going to be Lost World, DM13 indeed. So, of course, I think Vo tossing out that DM6, I think very, very wise decision there from Sander Kasjaga, the Cheese Hunter.
The Cheese Hunter.
The Cheese Hunter, that's what it means. Kasjaga in Dutch. It's pretty cool, right?
Your Dutch is almost as good as your Russian.
Yeah, let's not talk about the Russian though, because I'm under strict orders to make sure that there's no Russian going on when it comes to what comes out of my mouth.
Da.
But but this map will be very interesting indeed, because I think that Vo, of course, fantastic rockets. If he can just be, the rocketer that is Vo, if he can really bring that into play, then that's going to be fantastic. And of course, Toxic, one of the best shafters that's ever played Quake. He's got his strengths as well. So we'll see how this plays out. Again, would you like to start it off for us between Toxic and Vo on the deciding map of this group stage game?
I won't turn that down. Here we go. We are into the game and away as Tox will lead the charge with that plasma. Vo gets himself out of trouble. Didn't think he was going to take it, but Tox was down to just 19 points of health in that early exchange. Does get the yellow, and now will begin to rebuild with a 25 as well. But good early exchange from Vo. Asserts his authority, has Mega, has 100 armor as well for his troubles. So nice work from the Dutchman, but doesn't land that rocket.
Indeed, but look at his stack. It's really, really looking fantastic right now, armored like a tank. And with that red spawning and that Mega, Vu's got that position to deny Toxic both of them. That's what he's going to be aiming to do. Maybe Toxic can be sneaky and grab something, but really I think Toxic, as we said before, he's going to be looking for that Mega pickup time, actually in position on that Mega, defending that choke point. Vu, even though he has such a big stack, it's going to be hard to push through there. And we can see Toxic now using that to his advantage, being able to take that Mega. So good play from Toxic to make sure that Vu doesn't shut him out completely. Vu still with the stack advantage, but Toxic being so annoying and doing so much good work with the position right now.
Yeah, excellent stuff there to steal that Mega, as you point out, and really rebalance the game after that opening 60 seconds. Rocket dropped down to him by Vu, as a rail will come back in his direction. Tox is, though, still in great shape despite that rocket landing. Now we'll make his way out into the open, slowly towards that Mega. Grenades dropping down from Vu, and Tox is looking for the Dutchman as the grenades wait, and now it's Tox's opportunity. Vu drops down from behind with the LG. This could be Vu's moment. 45 points of health left on the Swede, but Vu will escape with 83-100. I'm surprised he didn't push in further. And now Tox looking to seize the initiative, and does so. Tox, well, I think, thought Vu was much lower than he actually was going into that exchange, but nevertheless finished the job off.
Yeah, Vu, I mean, he landed behind Toxic, and there was like a solid second of like unreturned shaft damage, giving Vu that cue to just continue going after him and escaping. And finally, Toxic comes out with that shaft damage from above, finishing him off, and using that lightning gun to the effect that we know that Toxic can. And we'll try it to work his way around this red, see if he can get some exit damage onto Vu, because Vu picking on that pickup, sure, he picked it up, but I mean, look at the position he's left in, and Toxic's like, okay, whatever, I'll just back off, take this yellow, get some position, maybe I can get the other yellow as well, and the Mega and the red, of course, 15 seconds away. We'll see how that actually, how Toxic manages to position himself around those, because this map is very much about leaving stuff up. It's about the angles and restricting where your opponent can move. So you can afford them to leave stuff up.
Here we go. Oh, Tox drops down, but the Mega is swiped away by Vu. He will escape with his tail in his hand, and Tox will wonder how that one got away. And question to you, how did it?
How did he get away? Well, he had the Mega time. He was on that side of the map. He dropped onto it. Toxic, of course, not with the precise time there, wasn't able to get there for the right moment. And that meant that now Vu really giving himself an in back into this game, because now we can see his stack is actually bigger than Toxic's, and fighting from above with those rockets, raining them down. And Toxic has to avoid those, and he has to see what he can do now, because Vu, with the better stack, he's got to be looking for the engagement, and it's going to be quite the engagement, as both players do have quite a lot to work with right now. And Vu trying to pressure, trying to find his way in, doesn't want to push too far, because if he's too aggressive, he's going to take too much damage from the very well timed, very well placed defensive rockets of Vu, of his opponent Toxic. But look at that shaft damage coming in Vu's back there, and that's not going to be too nice. But we can see that his stack is still relatively healthy, and we do have the Mega in 10 seconds, and that's really something that Vu cannot miss out on.
Vu waiting, doesn't want to make a sound as he goes over towards the Mega as it comes up. He's got the yellow, and Tox has just got in and out pretty much unchallenged, bar two rockets that missed. He now will go through, and Tox will consider that a happy exchange of items, because Vu is down to, at that point, he is about half health, collects 2 for 25 bubbles and is now back in at him. But Tox still has that frag lead, and again we're in another match where we're seeing, with coming up to the 5-minute mark, only the one frag. We're up to a whopping 10 frags in 25 minutes of normal time.
Indeed.
Tox going at him here, looking for frag number 2, and his LG does exactly that. And what was up with Vu in that exchange?
I don't know, but clearly Toxic has his number, because with that 2 fragging, oh no, but he goes up the jump pad, he falls down onto it. Now he's helpless against the shaft of Toxic, of his opponent. But I mean, actually hits a nice plasma there, which is always very nice. Not the most reliable of weapons, very hard to hit with, but that 20 damage per bolt, it can be so deadly with such a high fire rate, high damage per second on that weapon. You can use it well, it's good. But here's the shaft engagement there from Toxic, just dealing any damage he can to keep Vu at bay, to keep him off of these major major items, the Mega spawning soon. Toxic this time with the money item time there, right on it as it spawns. Vo does have the time himself, and that might be something he could be looking towards to use, because not only does that time give him the opportunity to know when it's going to be up for him to take, he also knows that if the Mega is spawning at that time, and Toxic knows it too, he can basically say, okay, I know where Toxic's going to be as well at that point in time.
Tox did land 2 rockets coming out of that yellow there, which Vo collected. Now Vo drops down onto another one. Followed up with him was a second, and Tox is starting to purr as he looks to finish off Vo for the 4th time. Brings out the machine gun, and he thinks Vo's a little lower than he is. Vo's on 90 health, no armor really. Is dropped down towards the red, collects it, but has a rocket chasing him as soon as he exits. He's now stuck down there as well, and that rocket goes right between the legs, and this is going to be Tox to finish off the job. It's 4-0. Vo respawns right in front of him. He's going to prevent him from collecting that yellow, and now Tox will go chasing for it. He couldn't go for the LG. If he had any LG ammo then, he would have been able to finish off Vo. Now he does, and his rocket has done even more damage to Vo. Vo down on that red level, and will be hounded out, will he? There he is, rocket waiting for him. Good work from Tox. He's 5-0 up.
He is 5-0 up, and that's going to be an absolute mountain to climb for Vo, because on this map, you know, Toxic can just run items, he can just kill the time. It's much like Blood Run in that regard, and you know, we saw it being solo fragging just a moment ago, and 5-0 indeed. Vo has to do something drastic. He's running out of time to make his move. Right now, he can still by this time try and pick some situations right now, but in a minute or so, he's not going to have that luxury to be able to choose his engagements as much, because the clock isn't going to let him, and that's just how it is.
So, Tox with a choice of where to go now. He will, Vo will try to replenish. He's up to 150 in armor, so that's very much a positive sign for him. But as he drops down, he waits before going through that teleporter just to throw Toxic off the scent, and now collects the red, and he's got everything except that Mega, and he's either going to go for it and potentially lose everything. He is right on top of it, but there's 5 seconds to go. And I think he's going to make his way over towards it, or try and get the exit frag onto Tox as he comes out of it. Here we go, Tox is now making away. Mega is up. Vo could dart over there, but he knows it would cost him so much to get anywhere near it, and in the end he has to surrender it to Tox. I think Vo was a little surprised to see Tox nowhere near it, and could have stolen it had he seen it.
Indeed, and a little bit of exit damage with that splash rocket from Toxic onto Vo there as he exits that red area, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, Toxic is being very responsible on all the item pickups, and there comes Vo, and one rocket going to be beaten away as Toxic takes up this position on the outside of the map. Vo dropping down to that red area. I don't know if he's going to get it. Toxic dropping right on it, and Vo with the rockets isn't going to connect. With rocket jump up from Toxic there, and the interception from Vo. 2 strong rockets, 2 HP remains for Toxic. Wow. How did Vo actually manage to deal that much damage? I'll never know, but trying his best to give himself a chance, one chance to get back into this game.
Yeah, Toxic upped the aggression a little bit going down towards that redness. The exchange was happening, really. Vo was running for his life, but he went for the exchange at the Mega. He landed 2, maybe 3 big rockets, and that left Tox with next to no health, and Vo with an opportunity to weasel his way back, and he's got 1 minute to go. I don't know whether it will be humanly possible for him to pull it back, but he's going to give it all he's got. Just 20 points of health. Oh! Falls down, the rocket sending him down into the lava, and that will be that.
I think it's fair to say that 7 frags in 40 seconds that remains is going to be pretty impossible for Vo, but showing very strong games. Toxic actually being one of the most active legends who's in the cup so far, and a lot of people are really pegging him to be able to win this one. I think, you know, Cypher, Avec, Toxic, these are the 3 main favorites for the tournament overall. I think most people would agree with me, and I think Vo showing that he has got some moves, he's got the skills, he's got the ability to really compete with the best, because even though, you know, we're at, a 7-0 scoreline right now, it doesn't tell the whole tale. Vo playing an amazing duel so far, I think.
I think if Toxic can come in that top 2, if he can disrupt an Avec and Cypher top 2, then that will be a fantastic result for him. Also, remember, first place goes home with €500. So this is not just some Sunday Cup. This is the Sunday Cup for Quake Live. And also remember that there's a lot of people watching Quake Live right now. There are over 2,500 before this match watching. I know that Roy Ches have put a Reddit link in there. If you're on the chat, go on there and uplink that Reddit on the gaming thread to get even more people watching Quake, back into Quake, and make sure that it stays where it should do, which is on the front page of every website.
Indeed. I'm not actually sure what hashtag we're using for FACEITQL, but tweet about FACEIT. Make sure, I think FACEITQL is the hashtag we're using. I'll get an update on that. I should probably know that, but never mind. And I think we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be back with more Quake action. So if you enjoyed what you have seen so far, do not go anywhere.